We try to. It's tough for me because with my responsibilities on Fridays, I leave with the team, and they actually ride the bus with me. The wife follows over, picks them up, takes them home, and then I spend the night at the hotel with the team, finishing my preparation, but then also making sure that the boys are prepared when they come back on Saturday. So I don't get to see them, so that's pretty cool. And my oldest, he's all about it. He's all ball. Any kind of ball, doesn't matter, soccer ball, football, basketball. He just loves to play. So that's been a cool thing. And, I learned that from Coach Sweeney when I played here, just see how he interacts with his boys. And I think it's important that I spend that time, that I give him that time. And it's easy to get caught up as a coach in your job. And if you're not careful, you're going to lose the thing that's most important to you, which is your family.
When you see the multiple coaches that have children playing for the team now, does your mind ever wander about how cool it would be to one day if you had kids that played on the team that you coached?
I think about that a lot, and I'm actually kind of warming up to it at first. I didn't want to be that guy, just because I know what my football experiences were and how valuable they were to my life, and I just want to make sure that it's their journey and not something that I'm putting on them. And so I've talked about it with my wife, and if I'm fortunate enough, and that's the Lord's plan, then one day I'll be coaching them. But right now, I'm just enjoying being a dad. But I'm learning from how Coach Sweeney interacts with his boys, Coach Batson, and you got Will and Bill Spires. I mean, you just got and now you had Jeff Davis and his boys, and so it's cool to see that, and it's refreshing as well. It keeps me grounded. But for me, if it happens, it happens. But that's not something that I'm really planning on right now.
It seems like you're gradually kind of opening up the playbook. You had the halfback pass a couple of weeks ago, the flea flicker on the first play on Saturday. How difficult is it kind of balance opening things up and yet still wanting to save some things that you don't want to show until later in the season?
I don't think we're in a situation where we're trying to save things. The message for us, for our guys, is one, we're going to have fun and we're going to be aggressive. And so just showing those guys that we're not holding anything back, I think it's giving them a renewed sense of confidence to just go out on the attack. And that's really been the message we've been trying to have. And each game is going to present different things schematically that we can do. But right now we're in the championship phase. We're not looking ahead. We're not trying to hold things. We're trying to figure out what we can do to be aggressive, be sound at the same time, and then give our kids the edge to go out and attack.
Tony, what was your message to Travis and why he's just kind of been a different guy the last 3 years?
Travis is probably one of the best young men that's ever come through this program, just off the field as a person. But he's still a young person. And I think that all of us have been in situations where sometimes we got to learn by touching the stove. And I think that's what happened to him at North Carolina. He's had so much success, and he thought that he was going to be able to go out there and just kind of do what he needed to do to get the job done. But you got to have a certain intensity, a certain focus, and a certain mentality. And he got exposed in pass protection, and I think he took that to heart. And that's why I say he's such a great young man that he responded the right way. So it wasn't as much anything that I had to say. Now Coach Sweeney was on him hard for that week, and he'll tell you he gave him some Robitussin and gave him some cough syrup. And for me as his coach, he's such a mature young man that I don't have to scream and yell at Travis. I can talk to him and just say, hey, these are things you need to do. But sometimes they got to experience it, and I think that he realized that if he doesn't have that eye of the tiger, he doesn't have that mentality, that he may not be able to accomplish the things that he wants to accomplish. So I think it's just a renewed sense of urgency with him, and probably not one in particular conversation other than, hey, now do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you realize through your experience that if you don't have what makes you the best in the country, in my opinion, is when you have that eye of the tiger and that focus. And if you don't have that, then that just makes you, average like everybody else.
Tony, you won the Rose Award and been recognized as the top assistant in the country. But do you feel like you still grow as a play caller and as an offensive coordinator? And how do you feel like you've grown this year?
Oh, no question. The first drive should have stuck with the run there, probably on that 3rd and 3. In my preparation, I always have, through the help of the coaching staff, we always have a set plan on 3rd and goal from the 15 on in. And so I immediately went to my 3rd and goal call. Didn't realize that we were in that situation. Probably could have ran it right there and probably would have gave us a better chance. And so just, there's always a play or two in the game, where I'm learning of things I can do better, managing the situation. And then just for me is making sure that what has made us successful as a staff is being sound, but also being aggressive and making sure that I'm staying on the aggressive and on the attack with our guys, because I think they feed on that. So that's how I'm growing, and just situationally each week, just trying to figure out where I can do a better job of putting our players in the best position to be successful.
Tony, what do you guys know about Wofford this week?
You know, Wofford, I remember 2011. It was a close game with Wofford. I think we were maybe close at half, or maybe might have been behind at half or something like that. So this is a team that's got great tradition, new coaching staff, but a lot of those guys were part of the old coach and what he brought to that program. They're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to play extremely hard. You know, they're obviously off to a great start for their season. You know, they're sitting in a similar situation as us. You know, they got objectives and desires, and a lot of these young men dreamed of playing, you know, at Clemson, and you know, for one reason or another, ended up at Wofford, which is, you know, not a bad thing. But they all have ambition, and this is going to be, you know, the biggest game of their season. It's kind of like their bowl game, even though they're an FCS team and they play for the playoffs. This is going to mean a lot to them. So these guys are going to come in here, they're going to compete. You know, schematically, they pose you some challenges because they're built to stop the run. You know, and then you're going to have to throw and make contested plays on one-on-one coverage.
You have been on both sides of this. You coached on FCS staffs. You've coached here, obviously. Do you like these games? Do you like Power Fives playing these FCS opponents?
You know, I do, especially when I can remember my days at Furman at South Carolina State. For those guys, you know, it was a lot of fun. You know, because obviously I came from Clemson, so I'd experienced the atmosphere. And again, a lot of these guys grew up, you know, their entire lives wanting to play, you know, in Death Valley. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for the state when these guys get an opportunity to come in here and play against, and then a lot of their teammates, you know, will be on the field. So I think it's a good thing.
Can you kind of describe what the Wofford players will be feeling since you've coached on that level? What they'll be feeling kind of coming in here and playing in front of 80,000 on a Saturday afternoon?
You know, they're going to be excited. I mean, they're going to be excited to play. They're probably going to walk in the stadium and have that moment, you know, of like, man, this is what I dreamed it would be. But once the game starts, I mean, it's competition. You know, they're going to go out there, going to compete. They're going to play to win. You know, they're showing up with the mindset that they're going to win this football game. You know, so our guys got to be prepared and ready, go out and attack, and then play a clean game, and then we'll figure out what the score is at the end.
Coach, it was a pretty neat tribute to Robbie Caldwell on the video board Saturday. What do you think about that? And just how's he managed to stay so youthful after 500 games?
You know, I hate that I didn't get to hear it because up in the box behind the glass, I didn't get to hear, you know, all the comments from the former players. But, man, how awesome is that? You know, I'm trying to think of all the games I played in Little League, high school, and I don't even think I'm close to 200 yet. And he's been at 500 college games. But I think being around the young guys, you know, keeps him young, keeps him energized. Extremely humble guy. Since day one, he's always been about the program, been about the team. I think that's why he's had the longevity, is because he's never made it about himself, especially in a profession where it's easy to get caught up in yourself. And that's what I appreciate about him. And he's willing to do whatever I ask him to do because he believes in me, he believes in Jeff, he believes in what we're doing, and that makes it fun.
Tony, how has Travis's role in the passing game evolved?
You know, you've noticed over the last couple of weeks we probably had some more design stuff to get him out of the backfield and really to put pressure on defenses, you know, that want to sit back and play us in some zone coverage. Now they got to account for the running back, and I think it's critical to his development going forward, you know, if he wants to continue to play and play every down at the next level. And that's something that he came into the season knowing that he needed to improve, and he's really taken ownership of it. And so you're seeing he's catching the ball well. He's taking ownership of running his routes. He's being a lot more, you know, detail-oriented in that aspect, because all that stuff was new to him. Still got to work on his stance a little bit when he gets out there. You know, I got a background as wideout, so I'm still working on that stance, getting him to look like a wideout. But pleased with his progression, and hopefully as we go forward throughout the rest of the season, you know, he'll continue to improve there.
Was there anything that jumped out to you after watching the film yesterday that maybe didn't on Saturday?
You know, it was really clean. You know, I thought that the first half was as clean of a first half, you know, that I've been around. You know, being able to go score points, and again on third down there, third and goal, I probably could have helped them a little bit better by putting them in a situation because they, you know, they jumped the play into the boundary, and Trevor kind of flushed a little bit early, but probably could have ran the ball there, especially when they were sitting back in zone. But you know, just really pleased with the communication. You know, I think that's something that the outsider doesn't get to see. And for us on offense, it's all about communication. So I thought the communication was really, really good. And you're playing a lot of guys. You had Jordan McFadden play both tackles. You had Bockhorst play both guards. You had a couple centers in there. The only thing that I wish we would have done a little bit better is that first drive coming out of halftime. We kind of stumbled there, but then after that, to see Chase go out there and play the way he played and lead, touchdown drives when you got some of your second team guys in there.
How would you evaluate how the offensive line has sort of worked together and communicated together so far this season?
We've done a good job. You look at just some of the numbers, and I'm not a big stat guy, but to see how we've been able to run the football over the last couple of weeks, our sack numbers are cut in half from last year. We're not turning guys loose. So overall, the communication has been pretty good, and we've been challenged too because you've seen a lot of different structures. Especially this was a tough week where you've been kind of locked in on that odd front for the last 3 weeks, and then now you got to jump into a 4-down front, and they really, really took on. And I said this after the game. They really, really took on the challenge of staying ahead of the chains, because if you play Boston College and you stay behind the chains, then they're going to get into some funky stuff on 2nd and long and 3rd and long that challenges any offense. So overall, been pleased. There's a play or two each game where we always can improve, and those are going to be the things that we're going to talk about today. Celebrate the successes, but more importantly, let's focus on the areas where we can improve, and let's not get complacent. Let's stay humble and hungry, because now we're into that championship phase, and we want to make it a November to remember, as Coach says.
You mentioned Bockhorst a minute ago. You feel just about as comfortable with him as those starters when he's in there, and what's he like off the field?
I tell you what, man, I really enjoy getting to know Bockhorst, man. He's what you want your son to be like, I mean, off the field, he can walk into